Hello, welcome back to the series where I ramble on about the movie that I saw this week. Before we begin, I want to say thank you to everyone that's watching these videos. You guys seem to be enjoying it, so I'm going to keep putting them out. But I'm going to ask now that if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us out a lot. Today we're talking about Gran Turismo, or Gran Turismo based on a true story, which is a bit of a mouthful, so I'm just going to keep calling it Gran Turismo. And again, beware, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet and care about spoilers, go watch the movie and then come back and watch this video about the movie. So that aside, let's get into it. Gran Turismo tells the shockingly true story of when Nissan brought some of the best Gran Turismo players in the world together into a Gran Turismo Academy and put them behind the wheels of real race cars, teaching them to race for a spot on the Nissan team. And that's one of those stories that if you saw it in a film, you'd think there's no way that can be a real story, but it is. Sometimes real life is weirder than fiction. We follow the winner of this GT Academy, Jan Mardenborough, through his time at GT Academy and also into his career. Looking into the actual story a bit further, there were some bits that were tweaked and modified just a little bit to make it fit better into the underdog sports film archetype. For example, in the film, Jan is competing in the first ever GT Academy, which is an idea that no one's had before, and they're proving that they can do it or whether they can't do it. But in reality, it was actually the third GT Academy that he won. And it was already an established concept by then. But for the sake of making an interesting film, you can see why changes like this were made. So, no criticism there, really. Going forward, I do have a bit of criticism about the film, and it's gonna sound like that's all I've got, but that isn't the case. I can't fault this film technically. It looks good, it sounds good, you're able to follow the story, it's acted well, you get attached to the emotions, but it's just a very, very safe film. It doesn't put forward anything really outstanding, it's just a pretty okay sports film. And building off that, that's my first criticism. It's a really, really safe, formulaic film. Jan Mardenborough is our underdog prodigy who gets his chance under the wing of the grizzled, older mentor who has had some tragic accident or event in his past that means they no longer compete in the sport that they're teaching. This mentor starts out harsh, but over the course of the film and being shown what they can do, they open up and they're always in their corner. I could point to about a dozen different sports films that do the same story. And like I said, it's a safe story. It's just nothing new. So if you like sports films, if you like racing, if you like Gran Turismo, you will probably enjoy this film. Probably quite a lot. But if you don't fall into any of those categories, it's probably going to be a little hard to get invested. And don't get me wrong, the film has some great moments. It knows how to handle its tension, it knows how to handle its emotion, it brings you along for the ride, but it's just not really anything special. I also feel like the film could be better if it was split into two separate films. The film tries to cover quite a lot inside of its 2-hour runtime, and that means that only Jan and the mentor Jack get any real character focus. All of the other side characters just kind of fall down by the wayside and become wallpaper. For example, the first half of the film mainly focuses on his time at GT Academy. We are introduced to a bunch of these characters who are the best sim racers in the world, and he even has a hotshot rival that he has to try and beat and overcome, which he does. But since this plot thread takes up maybe half, if that, of the movie's runtime, the supposedly amazing other sim racers are really just pins for Jan to knock down. We don't get to see anything special from them. They don't really do anything memorable. And the tension of having the rival in the big race is non-existent, because even when it gets to that first race, it's like, oh, is he going to win? Oh, is he not going to win? You know he's going to win, because it's far too early in the movie for him to have his fail and question my skills moment. I feel like the GT Academy section of the film could have been stretched and fleshed out into its whole own movie, where you actually get to know these side characters, you get to appreciate them more, and there's a bit more time spent on this rivalry. So there's a lot more tension built for that final race where he finally wins GT Academy and then gets his chance to race for Nissan. And then the second movie, we just pick up where the first one left off, following after Jan has signed with Nissan, or just slightly before Jan signed with Nissan, because he has his whole license segment of the film. But either way, if the second film follows his career, we can spend more time focusing on the side characters in that portion of the film. And of course, that includes his second rival. He gets a second rival because he left his last one at the academy, and now he needs someone else to be racing on the track. And this second rival is honestly less fleshed out than the first one in the film. He boils down to spoiled rich kid racer who is a dickhead. And that's his character. We don't really hate him as much as we just kind of find him annoying throughout the film. And I feel like just a full film with him as the antagonist would have allowed the character to breathe just a bit more. Also, having had the previous film where you would be able to be attached to the other GT Academy sim racers would make the moment where two of them come back for the big final race have so much more impact, as opposed to them just saying, oh yeah, no, they were racing in the lower leagues this whole time. And now they're here, they're gonna race with you. Okay, cool. And then it's his rival and one of the other sim racers. Because of how quickly introduced and then passed over these characters were, when we see them race, it's really more of a, oh, right, yeah, no, they were actually supposed to be good at this. And they are doing alright, but we shouldn't have to be reminded, oh, no, they are good. We should know, oh, they're good, this is gonna be cool. Especially the fact that his rival and him are working together on the same team. That should be a moment that, as an audience, like, wow, this is two great powers coming together, nothing's gonna beat them. But in the end, it really just focuses on Jan saving the day, and the other two racers are sidelined, when they really could have had some cool moments with them on the track. The film is also pretty heavy-handed with the whole people don't understand gamers idea that it really wants to push. It's brought up through multiple scenes again and again that, oh, people just don't respect gamers, and then it's upscaled to like 120%. Two characters to easily exemplify this are Jan's father and Jack himself. Jan's father is an ex-professional football player, and there's a few arguments between him and Jan that basically just boil down to, video games bad, go outside, touch grass. No dad, video games good, I'm playing my game. And they're just kind of a little cringy, to be honest. And on the other side, Jack, during the training montage, very often takes on the stance that all gamers are unfit, and it's not a necessarily hard stance to take. Yeah, a lot of gamers are unfit. But when he's yelling at the reasonably fit-looking cast that are currently running down the tarmac and going, yeah, I hope you like this chance to stretch your legs, it just kind of comes off as a little silly. Just a little silly in this context. Also, I kind of just want to mention how Jan has, like, gamer vision, as I'm gonna call it. There are several moments throughout the film where he kind of just sees the world as if it's his game. The most common thing is when he sees the race line, and then he sees his own race line because it's better than the pre-programmed race line. And this is the big ability that lets him win the final race. And I think it's just kind of funny that he has gamer vision. It's not really a criticism. I just like that he's seeing the world as a game. Honestly, that's pretty much all I've got to say about this movie. And let me reiterate that I don't hate it. But as someone that's not really into any of the sports or racing type movies, it's just another okay film that could be better with some tweaks and maybe could do with being a little less formulaic. Again, if you are a fan of racing or of sports movies or of Gran Turismo in general, you will probably enjoy this movie. And on that, I'd love to hear your opinions on the film, so chuck those in the comments below. And while you're down there, maybe hit a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. All of that helps us out a lot. You can also subscribe to our Patreon by going to the link in the description below, where you get access to these videos a few days early, and executive producer level patrons get their names put right here at the end of our videos and in our credits. You can also check out our website by going to the link in the description as well. But aside from that, that's all we've got, so thank you for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.